What's up, everybody? My name is Chad. You're watching Downshift Pass, and this is the all-new 2026 Hyundai Palisade. And that's right, folks, we have the all-new Palisade today. This is the Calligraphy edition. So of course we're going to go over the exterior, but even small details here is you have your roof rail here. Look how it goes down into the silver here. The interior, you have a whole situation on the driver's side as well as the passenger side to take a nap and just relax. We're going to go for a drive. And if I had to have one complaint with this vehicle and do the audio test, so if that sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and continue watching. All right, folks, let's go ahead and start on the outside like we always do. This is an all new model for Hyundai, so some very bold styling. Let's start with this headlight here. A lot of people barely see this here, but this is actually the headlight that's integrated. So your headlight is going to be your bright light, and this is a daytime running light as well as your turn signal. Now on this side, I do have it blinking so you can see what it looks like. It is huge, folks. I'm talking about large. It's crazy, but I just love the way that it looks. Very large grille here. This grille is exclusive to the Calligraphy model. So if you like this whole front end, you're definitely going to have to go for the Calligraphy. And then down here, we do have some active air vents that actually open when you start the vehicle, and they open and close as you drive the vehicle to help with the gas mileage. Now, as we step back here, let's take a look at this paint. This is called Earthy Brass Matte. So as the name suggests, it is a matte finish. So it reflects light completely differently than your regular glossy paints. If you want a luxe look, you definitely have to go for this color. I absolutely adore it. And when I open the door, just the contrast of the interior color and this earthy brass matte is just something special. Now these wheels that we have here are also exclusive to the Calligraphy model. It's a 265 front and rear. It's a 21-inch wheel. So it's going to be a little bit of a more harsh ride than you will get with a smaller wheel. Definitely not harsh whatsoever overall, but just more of a harsher ride than smaller wheels. I love that you have this little detail over the front as well as the rear. It just kind of helps to give it a little bit more of a hefty look. Now as we move down the side here, your rearview mirror does have a turn signal integrated in it. Nice size rearview mirror. Handles here, I just love the sound of them, the way that they feel. This car is completely impressive, folks. Now I'm just going to take a step back so we can take a look at the overall look of the vehicle. I'm noticing back here very Range Rover vibes, which is not a bad thing because I think it looks good, but it just, I don't know if I like the fact that it looks like something that is not. But even small details here is you have your roof rail here. Look how it goes down into the silver here, and it just looks like a complete, like it was intentional, and I absolutely love that. I'm sure it was. Now your tail lights here are also LED tail lights, turn signals. I do have it on this side so you can see what that looks like. And this is the rear of the vehicle. Let me go ahead and shut the vehicle off so we can see what it looks like back here, because I actually love the way that the tail lights look. All right. So if I was to lock the vehicle, remote start the vehicle with the key, you see it comes on. Now you can move the car with the vehicle forward and backward. I'm not going to do that right now, but I'm just going to show you what the brake lights look like. So if I put it in reverse, everything will come on. So that is your tail lights, your turn signal, and this brake light up here, this third brake light, I think looks really awesome. I love that it spans the entire width of the vehicle, and just a really strong looking rear end. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. Now with this as well, you can open the tailgate, of course. It is power operated, so press and hold, it'll open right up. If you stand back here, it'll also open up to really great storage space behind the third row seat. Now, this is the Calligraphy model, so every seat in here is power operated. So if you need more space, you do have some buttons here. You could just slide it forward at the push of a button to match that one, and that'll just give you a little bit more space. Now, if you do want to fold them all, just to show you quickly, I can click all. That front one is going to slide to give the other seats more room, and then they're all going to slide down. Not sure why this seat's not going down. Oh, there we go. And they all go down at the push of a button. I absolutely adore that. This car has everything. I'm just on the outside right now, folks. This car has everything. So full flat seats here, and even small details. Look at how it runs from the door. The black, the contrasting color runs from the door all the way to the third row seat. So just small details like that Hyundai and Korean companies are just known for. I really appreciate. Now we can lift this up here. As you can see, you have a little bit more storage space, but this is going to be where your tire changing stuff is. Owner's manuals back here. So just your smaller items you can hide under here. You do have a 12 volt back here as well, 180 watt. So that's really nice. And then some tie down hooks back here as well. And if you want to fold them back up, again, push of a button and they all fold up at the same time. Now you can control each one separately, of course, but just to show you really quickly, you do have that one button there. Now, if you did want to close it, all you have to do is press button here. You do have the lock feature as well. So if you press it, it'll go ahead and lock the rear for you, which is a really nice touch. But that is it for the exterior, folks. Drop down in the comments, let me know what you think. I think this is a great looking truck. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. But let's go ahead and step to the inside, because that's what this car is going to be for families. I'm going to unlock all these doors here. And folks, take a look, first of all, at this interior color. This brown here is just so stunning. When you open a door, it's not something that you expect. And just taking a look at the front here, I mean, this is picture perfect, right? Hyundai said this interior is supposed to be like a mid-century, modern situation. And I mean, it's barely any harsh edges. It's very soft curves, as you can see. And it just looks like a living room. It's just absolutely beautiful. You do have different colors to choose from. You have this gorgeous caramel brown color. You could choose black. And then they have a gray, which is almost white interior as well. But to me, this is the color that you need to get. This color is stunning. But folks, let's go ahead and start in the third row, because that's what this car is for. Now I'm just going to go ahead and step back here so you can see how much space I have. Now I am 5'8". My knees are touching the back seat, and of course I can stick my leg out here, but keep in mind every seat in here is power operated. So I can slide this seat forward, but I can also slide my third row seat back to give myself more leg room. So with this seat back and this seat a little forward, it is plenty comfortable back here. One awesome feature that you do have as well is heated third row seats. You don't see that in $100,000 cars, folks. Heated third row seats back here, as well as 100 watt USB-C charging on either side of the vehicle. 100 watts means you can charge your laptops, you can charge larger items very quickly. So it's really nice that they have that back here. 2 cup holders and just really comfortable seats overall. If you look up above, you do have a sunroof that comes all the way back to the third row. And then you do have vents back here as well. Now take a look at this headliner here. As you can see, it's very soft. I don't know what this material is, but it is absolutely stunning. This car just visually shows so well. It's over here as well. Really nice. This is hard plastic down here, hard plastic back here, but technically this is a cargo area, so that's to be expected. When we move forward, it does get much nicer. But this is the third row. One small thing I always like to point out in third rows is visibility, because if you're sitting back here, say like if you're in a Tahoe or Escalade, this C-pillar it's just so big. Sometimes it takes away all the window view when you're sitting back here, which makes it feel a little bit more claustrophobic. This third row seat has excellent visibility. So say if your head is here, you have all this window to look out of. Nothing is really blocking your view. It's absolutely excellent, and I appreciate Hyundai for that. Now moving along to the second row here, obviously we do have captain's chairs. You do have adjustable armrest as well. And I'm just going to step up here. You do have a nice little walkway. And I'm going to step out to show you guys one thing. Now these are power seats. So of course you could control the seat back, and then you could control it going back and forward. Now, if you wanted to get into the third row, you could just push your button here. It is power operated, so you will wait a little bit of time. That's not one of my favorite features, but honestly, when you're able to just climb in the vehicle into the back, you don't necessarily need to use this power operation, but it is nice that they do have it, and it gives you great step in to get into the third row, as you can see. So to put it back, you just push that button there. But one really neat feature I wanted to show you guys with this seat, And while we wait for this, I'll show you in a second. Here we go. One really neat feature is you have a relaxation mode back here. So with this third button, you just push that back and the seat kind of does a little dance here and it puts it back in a relaxed mode, which is supposed to be for the utmost comfort for road trips and things of that nature. Take a look at these headrests. They're like from an airplane. I mean, they're adjustable. They're very soft. This car is out of control, folks. You do have pleasant blockers here as well. So if you want to put that up, you have that option. Would be nice if they were power operated, but really not too much to complain about. You also have map pockets in each seats, and then you have another 100-watt charger in each seat as well. You do have a 150-volt regular household standard charger here, and then you do have some storage space down here as well. It's actually lined with felt, so if you do put your kids' toys down here, it's not going to rattle around too much. Great space in the second row if I was to shut the door. Nice solid thunk, but great space back here in the second row. Of course, you look up again, your sunroof, and these are going to be your climate controls for the second row. This car has heated as well as ventilated seats in the second row. Heated and ventilated seats in the second row is, again, unheard of in cars, twice the price of this one. So very comfortable second row seats back here as well. Of course, you do have your cup holder, auto one-touch windows up and down, and just a very nice place to be if you're on a road trip. But that's going to be the second row. Let's go ahead and hop into the front row. I typically don't like to take this much time on the interior, but this car is too impressive, honestly, not to. Now, of course, you do have your standard Hyundai key, lock, unlock. Hold is going to be for your remote start. And then, of course, this hold down here is for the panic button. And then on the side is how you drive the vehicle forward and backward, like I showed you earlier. And then your tailgate. And if I turn it to the side, Hyundai logo. So pretty neat, right? So if the door is locked, you do have power folding mirrors. To unlock, all you do is put your hand behind the handle and it opens right on up to your gorgeous, gorgeous interior. You do have calligraphy written in the headrest here as well. And I'm going to go ahead and step inside and get it started. Now, let me shut this door here. Take a look at this door, just gorgeous. Soft touch here. You got nice stitching here. It's flat. Again, it gives that mid-century modern look. Just really nice. Now, with your foot on the brake to start the vehicle, you do have your start button on your gear shift stalk here. It does take some getting used to, but I got very quickly used to it. So with your foot on the brake, push that button. And that is going to be your startup sequence. Now, these are two different screens here, 12.5-inch screens. So let me cut this blinker off here. Of course, they are fully digital, wireless Android Auto, as well as wireless Apple CarPlay. And then this is your speedometer and everything else it controls right here. But just starting from the left and sweeping to the right, this is how you control your power folding mirrors. Of course, you just push a button. All windows are one touch up and down here. Then you do have two-person memory seat as well as massage seats, folks. They call it their ergo motion seat. You just push a button. It shows up on the screen what it's doing. So you have pelvic, lumbar, whole body, and off. I love that it's right there so you don't forget that you have it. You don't have to dig through the menus here. You just push the button. You know what section or which one that you're choosing, and then you just cut it off if you don't need it. It's really neat. Now, as we move along here, take a look at this two-tone steering wheel. So, of course, you have the interior color as well as this black. And then this is the Hyundai Morse code logo. These 4 dots here is for Hyundai, actually. And they are lit. I don't know. Well, there you go. You can see it a little bit. They are lit. And when you put it into reverse, they turn red. So small little details like that, I absolutely appreciate. Also, when you put it into reverse, it vibrates. Let's see if you can hear it. Maybe not, but it does vibrate to let you know that you are in reverse. And I think that's really neat. Now, to control all your cruise control functions and different things of that nature, you just use the steering wheel controls and it shows you what your gas mileage is. You have a compass, like I said, the cruise control section there. You just have different functionalities that you have back here, but most of your function is going to come from this screen here. Now, it's very simple. Right now I'm in wireless Android Auto. If I want to get back to any of the general settings for the vehicle, I could just press home. So thank you, Hyundai, for having physical controls here. So you do have a ton of different features, a ton of different customization options in this vehicle. One really neat thing, if you swipe down, you do have what's called passenger talk. You push that, hello, 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 and then your voice is echoed throughout the car. I'm not sure if it's picking up on microphone, but it's sit down back there. Sorry, but it's really, really nice. So that's really neat. You can control the seats here, which I think is pretty dope actually. So you could control the heated as well as ventilated seats in the second row. And then you have the option for the seat controls for the recline, relax mode, walk-in mode, and then to fold them all down. You can actually do from this screen. It's very Tesla-esque, the fact that you can do that. Some, again, really nice materials, really beautiful styling up here. This is like a wood almost that you can kind of feel, and then ambient lighting shoots up from under there. Some nice diffused lighting in the on the passenger side as well as in the doors. You do have some small storage space under here as well, and a small glove compartment. It is not lined with felt and it's damped, but it's just so small. I'm surprised at the size of it, but you do have great storage space in this vehicle. So if that's not big enough, you have, let's get down here, you have great storage under here as well. And then taking a look, you do have a wireless charger, 2 cup holders, and then in here is going to be more storage space. Now this is a UVC cleaner essentially. So if I push this button with this closed, it'll sterilize anything that you have in there for about 20 minutes. These blue lights run. You can't see it when you open it. This blue light runs and it says it'll get it clean. Now that is one of the most gimmicky things I've ever heard of. But if it's that one extra feature that you need to say, do I want to get this Hyundai, this $60,000 Hyundai, something like that might do it for a person like me. You do have a rear view mirror here. You have an electronic one as well as obviously a standard one. And then a one-touch sunroof. I love that the sunroof actually slides over the vehicle, kind of give it a little bit of a sporty feel. Obviously it's just for clearance for the rear, but one touch, you can vent it as well as obviously open it. Nice Bose speakers here. This does have the upgraded Bose audio system. Make sure you stick around for that. And under the hood, let's talk under the hood really quickly. You do have a V6 engine in here. It's a 3.5 liter, about 285 horsepower. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the drive. But folks, that is it for the interior of the Calligraphy edition of the Hyundai Palisade. I'm just so impressed with this interior. Am I going to be as impressed with the drive? Let's go ahead and find out. Now, before I start the drive, how could I forget one of the most impressive features of the Calligraphy? With this button here, I'm just going to go ahead and push it and just watch what this seat does here. It's going to slide forward. It's going to lift a little bit. It's going to fold back. And then an ottoman is going to come out, folks. And if you want to raise it higher, you absolutely have that option. And if you want to slide it back because you think it's too close, you can do that as well. So while your kids are getting their hair cut or you're sitting at the soccer game and it's cold outside, you want to go sit in the car, you have a whole situation on the driver's side as well as the passenger side to take a nap and just relax. I don't know how I forgot that. I used this feature a couple of times over my time with the vehicle and it came in handy. So imagine this with the heated seat and the massage seat. This car is just up. All right, folks, setting out here in the 2026 Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy model. Now, as you may know, if you've been doing a lot of research, they do have a hybrid trim and then they do have the standard trim. This is going to be the standard 3.5 liter V6 engine. I love that they still offer a V6 for those that want it. They haven't downsized to the 4-cylinder like most car companies are right now. About 285 horsepower, folks. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just run to 60 very quickly here. I'm going to put it in sport mode because you're going to need to if you are doing this car or trying to get this car to go anywhere rapidly. But sport mode, I'm just going to plant my foot to the gas. All right, so that was 60 there. you will quickly realize that this car needs more power. Now, it's beautiful that they do offer it with the hybrid powertrain, but if you're not a hybrid fan or don't care to have a hybrid engine or don't understand the complexities of it and just a little afraid of it, this is what you're kind of stuck with. And if I had to have one complaint with this vehicle, and I promise you it's just one, it's definitely going to be this powertrain here. It's just a little too sluggish for me. And if you don't have it in sport mode, you're not getting out the way rapidly anywhere. And that can be a little scary when you're trying to merge onto the highway, or, you know, you might turn, a car comes out of nowhere. You like, oh, let me floor it or let me punch the gas. And it just kind of hesitates a little too much for me. So that'll be the only complaint that I have with the drive of this vehicle. Now, in everyday traffic where you're just putting around, getting the family from point A to point B, headed to work comfortably with your massaging seat on, it actually feels fine. It operates just fine. It does what it needs to do. No true complaints unless you're really just trying to shuffle this vehicle. Now, as you can see, I do have the left turn signal on, and you'll notice the camera here pops up that is kind of your over-the-shoulder view. So you do have a standard rear view camera or rear view monitoring system that shows in the mirror, but you do have that camera as secondary, and I think that's really awesome. So obviously it shows on the left, but it will also show on the right. So it's not just one side. Love that they offer that. As I make that left-hand turn, another thing you'll realize about this vehicle, it kind of wafts a little bit. It's not supremely like Cadillac soft, but it's definitely more of a softer ride. Like I said, with the larger wheels, it is going to be a little bit more rough, but I use that word very, very loosely because it's not a rough ride whatsoever. It's actually a very compliant ride. As you can see over these expansion joints, you're not bouncing too much. But then you hit something like that and there is some bounce and rebound to it. And then on top of that, the cabin is just very quiet. Even when you push the gas there, it's just a very quiet cabin. Really smooth shifts from the automatic transmission. I believe it's an 8-speed automatic transmission. I usually like this street here to show kind of how a car handles. Of course, you're not going to be on a track in this vehicle, but handling is something that's, you know, important to some drivers, no matter what you're driving. And this car feels just really good over every type of imperfection in the road. All right, merging onto the highway here. This is when this camera system with the turn signal really comes in handy. I mean, I'm old school, so I want to throw my head over my shoulder, but I'm really trying to get used to this here. But it's really nice to not have to look. You just see exactly what's there. And here we are, folks, on the highway in the Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy model. Now, this vehicle being a Calligraphy, you do have Hyundai Driving Assist version 2. Now, the second version of the Hyundai Driving Assist is going to allow you to switch lanes with the touch of a button. So all you do is put your turn signal on, and then the car will automatically switch lanes. Once I get through this curve here, I'm gonna cut it on and we'll see how it operates. All right, now to operate it, you just cut on cruise control like you would normally. So you push your button on the steering wheel and it's set. So those 3 lights in the dash lets you know that it is a, it's noticing the lanes, it's taking over the steering, and it will do a lane change for you as well. Now, this is a hands-on system, so your hand does have to be, I mean, very lightly on the wheel. I'm talking about, I do this, and it will recognize your hand and keep driving. But about 13 seconds, if you do complete hands off, is what I've noticed that the car will allow you to go before it tells you, hey, put your hand on the wheel. Now, for it to switch lanes, I'm just going to put my turn signal on, and it's getting over. Look at that. Nice and smooth at that. Now it's not going to turn off the turn signal, but I will. And there you go. So this is going to be Hyundai's self-driving system. It's a really solid system. The only thing I don't like, but I probably shouldn't complain about, to be honest, is how often it tells you to put your hands on the wheel. I'm sure over time it'll get better, but I've driven some Genesis vehicles where, I mean, 2 minutes goes by where the car is just cruising and doing its own thing. Again, this one, 13 seconds is going to let you know. And I'm going to put my finger very lightly. That's all it takes. I mean, barely any pressure. So that's really nice. Enough talking about that. Highway driving, folks. Again, very quiet cabin, nice and serene. I'm going to cut my massaging seat on just for fun. And the Palisade is a really great driving SUV, folks. I took it on a road trip for a couple of 100 miles. Never got fatigued on the road trip whatsoever. And once you're driving for an hour, those ergo motion seats automatically come on and starts inflating and deflating in different places, I guess to just kind of, you know, wake you up a little bit. And I thought that was an awesome feature. When I went through the settings, I did discover you can cut it off. So if it's not your thing, you don't have to have it, but it's nice to have. Now, the ergo motion seat or the massaging seat is only on the driver's side, not the passenger side. It would be nice to have it over there, but they don't. So that's something to consider. But all things considered that you get in this car, hard to complain about that. Now, also with this being the calligraphy model, upgraded audio system. So you do have the Bose audio system in this vehicle. And I'm not going to talk too much. I'm just going to start playing some music and then we'll discuss. That was the audio system in a 2026 Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy. Go ahead and drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about that audio system. As for me, this is a solid system. I think the bass is not too boomy. I don't have it cut up to high. I think it's on 6 out of 10. So I could cut it higher, and when I did, it's when it started getting muddled. But the bass is pretty strong. Treble is really nice. Highs and lows both sound really good. And there's never too much, like I said, muddledness or it never feels like it's overpowering the speakers. And I think that's really important. I love audio, good audio. I am not an audio engineer, so I can't speak highly to it, but I can speak to what my ears hear. And my ears were pleasantly surprised with what I heard in this vehicle. I did sit in all 3 rows as well to try it out. And in all 3 rows, you kind of get that full immersive feel and sound. 2 thumbs up on the audio system in the Palisade Calligraphy. All right, so on ramp into my final thoughts of the 2026 Hyundai Palisade. Folks, this is an impressive vehicle. Now, my car stickers for $58,000. If you want to go for the hybrid, it's about $2,000 more. So let's say that fully loaded, you can get one of these. I'm going to let it self-drive. Fully loaded, you can get one of these for about $60,000. This is the first vehicle in a very long time that I've driven that felt like every bit of the money that it cost. For $60,000, you get an unimaginable amount of features. You get great styling. You get just at the kitchen sink they throw at you from, like I said, you have the ergo seat in the driver's seat. You do have the reclining seats with the ottoman, power fold seats in all 3 rows, heated seats in the 3rd row. I could go on and on about all the features in this vehicle, but then we can talk driving dynamics. It's very comfortable. Seats are very comfortable. The ride is very nice, supple, quiet cabin. I feel like I'm rambling, which I probably am, but I was that impressed with this vehicle. Hyundai really did their thing with the calligraphy model. I do want to try to drive another model, maybe the SEL or the XRT, which I think is really cool looking. Maybe try one of those just to see Would I feel the same way had it not had all the features? However, even in saying that, Hyundai says that the Calligraphy model is the volume leader. So everybody is going for the top of the line model, and I think for good reason. So if you're in the market or you have a short list of vehicles, I absolutely, look at that, that was a little aggressive. I absolutely think you need to add this one to your list. I think you will be pleasantly surprised as well. But if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate you for watching. Definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you learned something new today, as well as that thumbs up to help me continue to get very cool cars like this one here. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks. Bye-bye.